Everyone. So in the previous class we have discussed about the working of four-stroke petrol engine and four-stroke diesel engine. Now today we will discuss about the working of two-stroke engine. Okay. So in the previous class we have discussed about the four-stroke engine for petrol engine. First we have discussed the four-stroke petrol engine. So today first we will discuss the working of two-stroke diesel engine. Working of two-stroke diesel engine. Or diesel engine is also known as CI engine, compression ignition engine. CI engine. CI engine. So question may be asked as explain the working of two-stroke diesel engine or explain the working of two-stroke CI engine. Both the questions are same. Okay. So here also we have to draw some diagrams so that the working should be clear. So I am drawing here some diagrams. This is the first diagram. Okay, this diagram represents figure 1. Figure 1, which is similar to the initial position as we discussed earlier for four-stroke engine. Initial position. Okay. So here, this is the engine cylinder. Okay. The structure is almost similar to the structure of four-stroke engine. There are some differences. Okay, which I will explain you. So this is the engine cylinder, and this is the piston. This is a piston. Okay, and there is a space provided here in the side of the piston. In the left side of the piston, there is some space here, which is known as transfer port. This space is known as transfer port. Transfer port. Why it is known as transfer port, I will explain later. So this is the piston, and above the piston there is a shape like crown. There is a shape like king's crown. Okay, so this is known as crowning. Crowning. Why this crowning is provided on the piston, that's also we will see. And in two-stroke engines, there are no walls. Okay, in place of walls, we are using here ports. Okay, this is outlet port, outlet, or exhaust port, and this is inlet. This is inlet port. Okay. So in the place of walls in four-stroke engines, in two-stroke engines we are using ports in place of walls. Okay. and here is the connecting rod. Here is the connecting rod which connects the piston with the crankshaft. This is the crankshaft. Okay. So this is the crankshaft. This is the first diagram, that's why I am giving the nomenclature here. Okay. This is the crankshaft and this is the connecting rod. Connecting rod. Okay. And in this condition, piston is at BDC. Piston is at BDC, bottom dead center. Okay. And the crankshaft is also in the bottom side because piston is at BDC. Okay. So this is the first diagram. Here, through the transfer port, some fresh air is present here above the piston. Okay. This fresh air is already present here. Okay. How this fresh air comes here, I will explain this later. This time you just know that a fresh air is present above the piston. Okay. And there are some exhaust gases. In the right side of this fresh air, there are some exhaust gases. Okay. And this fresh air rises from below the space, rises from the space below the piston. Okay. Below the piston, fresh air is already present. Okay. Okay. Below the piston, fresh air is already present. How this fresh air comes here? This is also will explain in the next diagram. Okay. So this fresh air flow through this port, the side space, from the space below the piston to the space above the piston. Okay. So this fresh air below the piston is transferring through this space. That's why this space is known as transfer port. Okay. Because by this port, the air is transferred from the space below the piston to the space above the piston. Okay. That's why this port is known as transfer port. Okay. And when this air flows through the transfer port, with the help of this crowning, this fresh air pushes all the exhaust gases from the previous cycle, all the exhaust gases from the previous cycle to go outside through the outlet port. Okay. Okay. So this fresh air will rise and push all the exhaust gases from the previous cycle to go outside through outlet port or exhaust port. Okay. This process of rising the fresh air and pushing all the exhaust gases from the previous cycle with the help of this crowning, all this process is known as scavenging process. All this process is known as scavenging process. Scavenging process. Okay. Now in the next diagram we will understand how this fresh air comes here above the piston and below the piston. Okay. So next diagram I am drawing here. Now, in the next diagram, this is figure 2. In the next diagram, now as the fresh air is present here and all the exhaust gases go out from the outlet valve. Only fresh air is present here. Okay. So now in the next step, this piston moves in the upward direction. Okay, moves towards BDC. Okay. So when this piston moves in upward direction, this crankshaft will rotate in clockwise direction. Okay. So this is shown in the figure 2. This piston is rotating in the clockwise direction and this piston is move little bit in the upward direction. Okay. This moves in the upward direction. Okay. Now in the first diagram, when this piston is at BDC, it closes the inlet port. You can see that the inlet port is in closed condition. Okay, because this piston is in front of this inlet port. Okay, the operation of port is very easy compared to the valve. Okay, because for the opening and closing of the valve, we have to arrange some cam and follower. Okay, cam and follower will open and close the valve. But here for the ports, we need not to arrange extra. We need not to arrange anything extra. Okay. By the movement of this piston, this port itself closes and opens. Okay. When this piston comes in front of this inlet port, this will close. And when this piston moves in the upward direction, this will automatically open. Okay, that we can see in this diagram. So when this piston is moving in a upward direction, the inlet port opens. Okay, the inlet port opens. And when the inlet port opens, as the piston is moving in a upward direction, suction process takes place below this piston through this inlet port. Okay, atmospheric air is also present here, na? So when this piston moves in upward direction, through the inlet port, suction process takes place and fresh air comes inside the crankcase. Okay. Okay, this is known as crankcase. This space is known as crankcase. Okay. So when this piston moves in upward direction, this inlet valve opens and fresh air will come inside the crankcase below the piston. Okay. Same process will takes place here as in 4-stroke engine. When the piston is moving in downward direction, as we have seen in the previous class, when the piston is moving in the downward direction, when the piston is moving in the downward direction, pressure inside the cylinder decreases. Okay, vacuum is created here and pressure inside the cylinder decreases and outside pressure is very high, so fresh air will flow from the outside to inside the cylinder. Okay, through the inlet valve. Same thing is happening here, but difference is only that this is happening below the piston. Okay, this suction process in the 4-stroke engine takes place above the piston, but here in 2-stroke engine, the suction process takes place below the piston. Only the difference is that process is same. Here is also the piston is moving in upward direction, vacuum is created below the piston, due to which the pressure inside the crankcase will decrease and outside pressure is very high. So due to this pressure difference, air from the outside flows inside the crankcase below the piston. Okay, the process is same. The difference is only that here the suction process takes place below the piston. Okay. Now, air comes below the piston and fill up in all over the space in the crankcase. Okay. Another thing is happening here. When this piston is moving in the upward direction, as we have seen in the first diagram, above the piston air, fresh air is already present. Through the scavenging process, here fresh air is already present. So when this piston is moving in the upward direction, this piston will compress the air present here. Okay. Here air is already present now. So when this piston will move in upward direction, this will compress the fresh air present above the piston. Okay. So here we can see that when the piston is moving from BDC to TDC, two processes are taking place simultaneously. Okay. First is when the piston is moving in upward direction, suction process takes place, and the second one is when the piston is moving in upward direction, it will compressing the fresh air present above the piston. So two processes are taking place simultaneously, suction and compression. Okay. So in figure 2, when the piston move from BDC to TDC, figure 2 represent two processes, suction and compression. Suction plus compression. So we have seen in the previous class, in one stroke, in 4-stroke engines, in one stroke only one process takes place. But in 2-stroke engine, we can see from this diagram, in one stroke two processes are taking place. Okay, suction and compression both process takes place in one stroke when the piston moves from BDC to TDC. Now you can understand that from where this fresh air comes here inside the crankcase. Okay, below the piston and above the piston. Okay. Now in the next diagram, the piston is moving in the upward direction, and when this piston moves reached to the TDC position, okay, we can show that in the next diagram. Okay. So in this diagram, piston reaches to TDC position. Okay. So now piston is at TDC. Another thing we can see here, when the piston is moving towards TDC, the inlet valve opens and the outlet valve starts to close. Okay. Because this piston is now coming in front of this outlet valve. Okay. And when this piston is reaches to TDC position, this will completely cover the outlet valve. This will completely close the outlet valve. Okay. And now this piston is at TDC. So the crankshaft is also at the topmost position. Okay. So when the piston is reaches to TDC position, the fresh air present here will highly compressed. Okay. The fresh air present here will highly compressed. Okay. And below the piston, suction process completed. All over the space below the piston in the crankcase filled with the fresh air. Okay. This figure, this represents figure 3. Okay. And as we are talking about two-stroke diesel engine, okay, it is a diesel engine. So there will be a fuel injector also will be there in each diagram. I forgot that, but there will be a fuel injector because this is a diesel engine. If this will be a petrol engine, then we replace this fuel injector with a spark plug. Okay, so this is the fuel injector. Fuel injector. Okay, here also there is a fuel injector. Fuel injector. So now in this condition, when the piston is at TDC, it will highly compress the fresh air present here. Okay. Now the temperature of this air is very high because this air is highly compressed. Okay. And in this high temperature air, now we will inject the fuel through the fuel injector. And when we inject the fuel through the fuel injector, you all know what will happen. Okay, when we inject the fuel through the fuel injector, a sudden combustion will take place, explosion will take place. Okay, explosion will take place, and due to this explosion, a lot of energy waves are produced, a very high pressure is produced, and this high pressure forces this piston to move in the downward direction. Okay, now this piston will move in the downward direction by itself. Okay, by the work of this combustion process. Okay, we are not giving the work here. We are getting the work here. Okay, this thing I have explained earlier in the previous class. Okay, so now due to this expansion, due to this explosion, this piston will move in the downward direction. Okay, so in the next diagram I am showing that. Okay, so as the expansion process takes place, now the piston will move in the downward direction. Okay, so now the piston is starting moving in the downward direction. Okay, and the crankshaft is rotating in the clockwise direction. Okay, this crankshaft is rotating in the clockwise direction. So when this piston will move in a little bit in the downward direction, this crankshaft will also rotate a little bit in clockwise direction. Okay, and expansion of gases takes place here. Okay, now here we can see that this is figure 4. Here we can see that when this piston is moving in downward direction, now outlet valve start to open. Okay, when this piston is moving in the downward direction, the outlet valve starts to open. Now this piston is coming in front of the inlet valve. Okay, so when this piston is moving in the downward direction, the outlet valve starts to open and the inlet valve starts to close. Okay, so another thing is happening here. When this piston is moving in the downward direction, in the previous diagram we have seen that there are a lot of fresh air is present here below the piston. Okay, so now when this piston is moving in the downward direction, it will compress the air present in the crankcase below the piston. Okay. It will compress the air present below the piston. Air is also present here, na? So when the piston will move in the downward direction, two things are happening here. The piston, the inlet valve starts to close, and the air inside the crankcase is compressed by this piston, by the movement of this piston. Okay. And when this piston reaches to BDC, bottom dead center, the air inside the crankcase is highly compressed. Okay. And this highly compressed air is trying to escape from a small space. Okay. And inlet valve is already closed. Okay. This thing we can see in the first diagram. Okay. Now from here, we will reach on the first diagram. Okay. The piston is moving downward and it will reach to the BDC. Okay. When this piston will reach to the BDC, it will compress the air inside the crankcase. Okay. So this air try to escape from a small space, and the inlet valve is closes. So this air will find a space to the transfer port. Okay. The pressure is very high. Okay. So when this pressure finds a space to the transfer port, it will escape from this space. Okay. It will escape from this space and reach above the piston. Okay. So this is a very high pressure air. So when this air reach above the piston, the exhaust gases are present due to expansion process. Okay. I have said earlier, the exhaust gases from the previous cycle. So which one is the previous cycle? This is the previous cycle. Okay. So due to the expansion process, exhaust gases are present here. Okay. So this is a very high pressure air. When this high pressure air reaches above the piston, this air will push all these exhaust gases to go outside through the outlet valve. Okay. Because outlet valve is now open. Okay. And this pressure will take the help of this crowning. Okay. This crowning provides these exhaust gases to outside direction. Okay. The shape is, why this shape is keep like this? Because this crowning will give the direction in the right side. Give the direction to the exhaust gases to move in the right side. Okay. So with the help of this crowning, this high pressure air which is reaches above the piston pushes all the exhaust gases to go outside through the outlet valve. And this process is known as scavenging process. Okay. Now I think that you all understand that how this fresh air comes here and how this fresh air comes below the piston. Okay. So this is the whole process. So here in figure 4 we can see that in figure 4 in figure 2 we have seen that two strokes are happening together, suction stroke and compression stroke. And so in figure 4 and in figure 1 we can see that here also two strokes are happening together. Okay. First is exhaust is taking place. Okay. In figure 4 expansion is taking place. Okay. And after that exhaust process takes place. Okay. So both these strokes takes place in this diagram. Okay. Expansion stroke is also known as power stroke. Expansion plus exhaust. Both strokes takes place simultaneously in the single stroke. Okay. So this is the working of two-stroke diesel engine. Okay. So now from all these diagrams we can understand that why it is known as two-stroke. Why it is known as two-stroke? Because in the whole working cycle we can see that there are only two strokes of the piston. Okay. first stroke we can see that from the figure 1 when the piston is at BDC, from the figure 1 to the figure 3 when the piston is moving from BDC to PDC. Okay, this is the midway position. Okay, so from figure 1 to figure 3 when piston reaches from BDC to PDC, this is the first stroke. This is the first stroke. Okay, now for expansion and exhaust process, again piston is moving from TDC to PDC. Okay, again this is the mid position. Okay, so this is the second stroke. So two times piston is moving from TDC to BDC and BDC to PDC. That's why this is known as two-stroke diesel engine. Okay, because there are only two strokes of piston is there. Okay, we can also see the revolution of the crankshaft. How many revolutions of the crankshaft is here? Okay, we can also see that from this diagram, from these diagrams. Okay, so this is the initial position of the crankshaft. Okay, so crankshaft is moving in the clockwise direction. So from figure 1 to figure 3, we can see that crankshaft is moved by half revolution. This is the midway position. Okay, crankshaft is moving in the clockwise direction. This is the midway position. So from figure 1 to figure 3, this point comes from the bottom point to the topmost point. So this is the half revolution, 180 degree. Okay, this is the half revolution. Okay, so this is the half revolution. Again from figure 3 to figure 4, yes, we are seeing that now again piston is moving in clockwise direction. Okay, so piston is moving in clockwise direction. This is the midway position, and after rotating, piston is reached again to the bottom position, from the top position to the bottom position. Okay, so again piston is moving by 180 degree. Piston is moving by 180 degree. Okay, so this is the half revolution. So half revolution and half revolution. How much revolution of crankshaft is there? One revolution. Half plus half, one revolution. Okay. So in the whole working cycle of this engine, we can see that there are two strokes of the piston with one revolution of the crankshaft. Okay. So this is all. This is all for the working of two-stroke diesel engine. Okay. This working is little bit difficult from the four-stroke engines. Okay. Because of the structure of this engine, the structure is a little bit different from that four-stroke engine. Okay. So that's why this working is a little bit different, a little bit difficult. Okay. But once we understand the process, then there will be no difficulty. Okay. So this is all for the two-stroke diesel engine. In the similar way, we can understand the working of two-stroke petrol engine. Two-stroke petrol engine. Petrol engine or spark ignition engine. So as in the previous class, I have explained you that the working of petrol engine and diesel engine is almost similar. There are some basic differences there, which we can also understand here. First petrol engine is a spark ignition engine. Means we need some sparking action for the combustion of the fuel. Okay. So first replace the fuel injector for petrol engine. First replace the fuel injector with a spark plug. Replace the fuel injector with a spark plug. Same thing we are doing here as we have done in the 4-stroke petrol engine and 4-stroke diesel engine. Same thing we are doing here. Okay. So first we replace the fuel injector with spark plug. With a spark plug. Okay. This is also spark plug. In spark plug there is a negative electrode and positive electrode. Okay, this is negative and this is positive electrode. That's why diagram is like this. Okay. Here also we have to replace by spark plug. Okay. And second thing we have to do is in the place of fresh air, we have to put here air fuel mixture. For petrol engine, we need air fuel mixture. Okay. So in the place of fresh air, we need here air fuel mixture. Air fuel mixture. So in the suction process, air fuel mixture comes inside the crankcase below the piston. Okay. And here also above the piston also there is air fuel mixture. In the place of fresh air, there will be air fuel mixture. Only two differences there. First, we have to replace fuel injector by spark plug, and in the place of fresh air, we have to put air fuel mixture. Okay. Here also air fuel mixture is compressed. Air fuel mixture is compressed. Air fuel mixture. Compressed air fuel mixture. After compression process, this is compressed air fuel mixture. Now in this compressed air fuel mixture, we will perform sparking action by spark plug. So when sparking will happen, explosion will take place, and after explosion, expansion process will take place. After expansion, exhaust process will take place. Other processes are similar to the working of diesel engine. So only two differences there. You have to keep that difference in your mind. First is replace the fuel injector by spark plug, and second is replace fresh air by air fuel mixture. Okay. So this is all for the working of two-stroke petrol engine. Okay. Other diagram is almost similar to the diesel engine. Okay. Now, one thing is there. Why nowadays two-stroke engines are not using in the automobile sector? Okay. In present time, only four-stroke engines are used in two-wheelers or four-wheelers. Why these two-stroke engines are not used are not used in the two-stroke or two-wheelers or four-wheelers? What is the problem? So there are some problems with these engines. Okay. So here we can see that in scavenging process, this is a petrol engine. Okay. I have drawn the diagram for the petrol engine now. So in scavenging process, here I have said that above the piston there is a air fuel mixture, fresh air fuel mixture. Okay. And here exhaust gases are there. Exhaust gases from the previous cycle is present here. Okay. And when this fresh air fuel mixture will rise from the space below the piston to the space above the piston due to high pressure, this fresh air fuel mixture will push the exhaust, okay, to go outside from the outlet wall. Okay, so here we are taking these exhaust gases out with the help of the fresh air fuel mixture. So there is some harmful effect also. When this air fuel mixture pushes these exhaust gases to go outside, some fresh air fuel mixture is also go outside with these exhaust gases. Okay, some fresh air fuel mixture will also go outside with these exhaust gases. This is the first problem. Second problem, some exhaust gases remains inside the engine cylinder. Okay, some exhaust gases also remains inside the engine cylinder. The first problem is there that this fresh air, some fresh air fuel mixture flows with these exhaust gases outside the cylinder, and some exhaust gases remains inside the cylinder. So what are the harmful effects? First, due to first problem, when the fresh air fuel mixture flows with these exhaust gases outside the cylinder, so first there will be a economic loss because fuel is going outside. Okay, we have kept fuel here for the combustion process, but some fuel goes outside with these exhaust gases. So first there is a economic loss. Second, when this raw fuel, when this raw fuel will go in the environment, this is very harmful for the human health. Okay, when this raw fuel go in the environment, this is very harmful for the human health. Okay, because there are raw carbon present in these fuels. Okay, this will pollute the environment. Okay, pollution will increase, which is harmful effect for the human health. Okay, so there are two bad effects when this fuel comes with these exhaust gases outside from the engine cylinder. First, there is a economic loss. Okay, because fuel is going outside. Second, pollution increases, which is harmful for the human health. Okay, so these two bad effects when the fresh air fuel mixture go outside with these exhaust gases. Okay, second problem I have said that some exhaust gases remains inside this engine cylinder also. Okay, so these exhaust gases dilute this fresh air fuel mixture. These exhaust gases mix with this fresh air fuel mixture and dilute this fresh air fuel mixture. Okay, so the purity of this fresh air fuel mixture decreases. The purity of this fresh air fuel mixture decreases because some exhaust gases mixed with this fresh air fuel mixture. The purity decreases. So we will not get that much of thermal efficiency which we are getting with the pure air fuel mixture. Okay, when dilution takes place, we will not get that much thermal efficiency which we are getting with the fresh air fuel mixture. Okay, so here we have seen three problems, three bad effects. First, first is economic loss. Economic loss. Okay. Second is pollution. Okay. And third is dilution of the charge. Dilution of air fuel mixture. Okay. Due to these bad effects, nowadays two-stroke engines are not used by two-wheelers or four-wheelers. Okay, only four-stroke engines are used in two-wheelers and four-wheelers. Okay. Two-stroke engines nowadays are using in some operations like in generators. In generators, two-stroke engines are using in some generators. Okay. So this is all for the two-stroke petrol and diesel engine. Okay. Now we are going to see the basic difference. We are going to see the basic difference. We have understand very well the working of two-stroke petrol engine, two-stroke diesel engine, four-stroke petrol engine, and four-stroke diesel engine. So now we are able to differentiate between two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine because now we are very well. We have understand very well the working of two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine. So we can easily differentiate between two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine. Question comes in the exam. Differentiate between two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine. Differentiate between SI engine and CI engine. So if you understand the working, you can differentiate. So here we can see some differences. First, we are going to see the difference between two-stroke engine, two-stroke and four-stroke engine. Two-stroke and four-stroke engine, any type of engine, or either petrol engine or diesel engine. Okay, so we are going to see the basic differences between two-stroke and four-stroke engine. For any kind of engine, either SI or CI, either petrol or diesel. Okay. So the best way to show the difference, okay, so the best way to show the difference, you need to draw a line. You need to divide the page of your copy into sections. Okay, this is the best way to represent the difference. Okay, one side you write two-stroke engine, another side you write four-stroke engine. Okay, now we will show the differences point by point. First point, first basic difference is, what is the first basic difference? Write the first difference, first basic difference. Okay, when we are going through the working, what is the first difference comes in mind? Okay, first difference, by the name of these engines, two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine. First difference we can write with the name of these engines. Okay, so here there are two strokes of the piston. We can write that this is the first basic difference. Two-stroke of the piston. Two-stroke of the piston in one revolution of the crankshaft. In one revolution of crankshaft. Okay, but in four-stroke engine there are four strokes. In four-stroke engine there are four strokes. Four strokes in two revolutions. In two revolutions of the crankshaft. Okay. Second difference which should come in your mind. Second difference we can see from the structure. Okay, in four-stroke engine we uses valves, but in two-stroke engine we uses ports. Okay, and as I said, the operation of ports are very simple compared to the valve. Okay, so design is very simple. Design of the two-stroke engine is very simple because we are using the ports. Okay, so it uses ports. So design is simple. This one it uses valves. Okay, and for valves we have to make some separate arrangement like cam and follower to operate these valves. Okay, so design will a little bit complex. It uses valves, so design is complex. Okay, another point we can see that, as I said here, there is a dilution of charge. Dilution of charge. Okay, and due to dilution of charge, when fresh air fuel mixture becomes impure, we will get less efficiency, less thermal efficiency. Okay, so due to dilution of charge, less thermal efficiency. And here in four-stroke engine, there is no dilution of charge because in four-stroke engine there is a separate exhaust stroke. For the exhaust process, there is a separate stroke. For the expansion process, there is a separate stroke. For every process in four-stroke engine, for every process, there are separate strokes. Okay, so there will be no dilution of charge. No dilution. No dilution of charge. No dilution of charge. So we get high thermal efficiency. From 4-stroke engine we get high thermal efficiency. High thermal efficiency. Because a pure fuel, combustion of pure fuel takes place here. Okay. So we get high thermal efficiency. Okay. Next point. If you have understand the working, you can write many points. Okay. If you have understand the working, you can write as many points you want. Okay. But you need to write only 4 or 5 points. For examination purpose, you need to write only 4 or 5 points. Okay. So here next difference we can see that okay, the thermal efficiency is less, but we can see here the working cycle of 2-stroke engine completes in 1 revolution only. Okay, the working cycle of 2-stroke engine completes in 1 revolution only. But for 4-stroke engine, working cycle completes in two revolutions. Okay, so here mechanical efficiency will be more. Okay, mechanical efficiency will be high. Is more. Okay, and here working cycle is completed in 4 strokes, 2 revolutions. So friction will be more. Friction will be more, then heat loss will be more. So mechanical efficiency will be less. Okay, mechanical efficiency less. Mechanical efficiency will be less. Okay, I am writing here only less. Okay, another point you can write here. 2-stroke engines are light in weight. Okay, these engines are light in weight. Light in weight. Why light in weight? Because these engines have less parts, less components. 4-stroke engine have more components. As I said in course, we need not to arrange any. We need not to make some separate arrangement for operating these ports. But for valve, we have to make some separate arrangements like cam and follower. Okay, that's why these 4-stroke engines have more components. So these engines are bulky, heavy. Okay, so 2-stroke engines are light in weight, but 4-stroke engines are heavy. Okay, another point you can write, 2-stroke engines are cheaper. These engines have less components. Okay, so these engines are cheaper and simpler in design, but 4-stroke engines are costlier. These engines are cheaper, and these engines are costlier. Okay, so these are some basic difference you can write. Okay, so this is all for the today. In the next class, we will discuss about the difference between SI and CI engine and other things. Okay, thank you.